You're now in tune to Agree to Disagree. Agree to Disagree on Urban Hype Radio with your host, Superfly Forte, First Class, and DJ JT.
And Sierra, you guys are extremely disrespectful. Like I'm a ghost. I'm here.
It's
so
all good.
Where's my name?
It's all good. It's all work in progress.
It's coming. It's coming. You just gotta wait on it. Just wait on it.
Yeah, don't worry. We
Just
got
like
you,
a
we got
woman
you.
impatient, man. Can't wait for it to happen, you know?
Hey, man, we back.
We back. It's been a while.
It
It's
has
been
been.
a
It has
long
been.
time.
It's been a crazy holiday season, but we back here, 2019.
Yeah, man. Wow. I mean, it feels good.
Yeah,
It feels good.
yeah.
Be back in front of the mic. Get the topics rolling off the top of the head, and just be back.
With a new member, so
Yep.
Sierra, I hope
I
you got
know.
some thick skin because
Whatever.
I mean, a lot of people have been talking about like the new member. They heard the first special, and,
And
this
they
will be our
loved it.
second special.
And they loved it.
But they don't know who you be, man.
They know exactly who I be.
I think we fixed the little mic problem, so you're gonna hear her well today. You're
This
gonna
is
hear her
true.
well today,
This
man.
is true. This is true. So, I mean, what do you guys? Just give me a little glimpse of what you've done over the last little bit. Seeing how we've been gone. Work anything?
Spent money.
Spend money.
Unnecessarily.
Yeah, that's true. It's one of those.
My child is spoiled.
Okay.
That's
Works.
that. Like
I think that's clear in this room.
I think
All
that's
of our
facts.
kids.
So sponsors, feel free to sponsor.
Right?
LOL
Get
dolls,
to that bag. Let's go.
Hatchimals.
Yeah.
Okay, first of all, I just want to say quickly, my daughter killed herself for a Hatchimal. Played with that for a
5
day and a
seconds.
half.
And what's the other one? Poopsie? Oopsie poopsie or
No,
something?
she doesn't have
I know that
but I
one.
heard
I
about
know
that
that
one. But the LOL doll and the Hatchimal.
Yeah,
her
man.
LOL doll was sitting in her stocking for like 2 weeks after Christmas.
You know what, shouts to you. You do stocking stuffers too?
Yeah.
I did stocking stuffers this year.
Wow.
Bougie lady, boy.
Trying
Shouts
to
to
get
you.
Sierra's
Yeah.
house next year.
She's on the next thing, eh?
Real quick on those LOL dolls. I know we're not gonna get too deep into this, but you guys remember those like when you go into like Walmart and those stores and you drop that 25 cents in the machine and you get
And
the
it rolled around?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's what an LOL doll is. Except
Wow.
you gotta pay $20 for
That's
it.
the one you have to like
Yeah.
unlock
Yeah,
out of
yeah,
the little
yeah.
capsule thing.
Well,
All right.
no. There's different ones.
Oh, okay.
That's a special one with the canister.
Oh, okay.
And you got to give it to your parents because you're not old enough to figure it out.
Yeah, yeah.
So now I got to sit there and figure it out.
Why is there a lock on
That's
it?
not me. That's
I
The
don't
what
lock is
know.
the worst.
It's not even a safety lock.
I just pop that thing right open. I'm not even trying
No,
to.
I do
figure
it.
out
I
that
do it still. That's my little,
But do your kids play with dolls and stuff? Because Savannah's kind of getting out of that stage now. She likes to draw and that type of stuff, but
Naya's all
It's
over
such
the
a
map.
wa- it's
You know,
such
she's
a
all
waste
over
of
the map.
money.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she's all over the
definitely,
map.
definitely.
But I mean, that's everything, right? Like,
yeah.
think about how many things we buy and then we don't really use as much
I feel
anymore.
like I utilize the things that I buy.
I'm sure if I asked somebody, they'd agree to disagree.
A humble
For sure,
plug.
for sure. And
But
I
to
mean,
each his own.
so yeah, I think for everybody, they spent some time with the family over the last little bit, which is cool. Making sure everybody's good. For the listeners, for the fans, we've been working hard at making sure the sound's right, making sure that we got some topics, and yeah, man, we're gonna be hitting you hard this summer.
What your mom
Well, not
say
even this
for
summer.
today?
This whole
Quality over
season.
quantity.
Quality over quantity.
There you
Wow.
go. There you go.
For sure, we got that quality.
We
We
got
getting
quality.
it. We getting it.
All right, so
All right.
we're gonna start this off with quite an interesting topic. I think
Yeah, it's a
we've
special
all
today.
been hearing about it for the last week or two, maybe.
Too long, man.
Yeah, a
Well, I
couple
mean, we've been
weeks.
hearing about it long before that.
Yeah,
but like,
yeah.
it's in
But now it's blown up.
the front pages right now.
Blown.
We talking about R. Kelly, folks.
Ooh.
Kels.
First and foremost, I know you guys all watched the docuseries?
Yes.
I watched
Yes.
most of it. I didn't
I
finish
watched.
it.
Yeah,
I watched it all, man.
I want to say like 90%.
9%?
I watched
I think I
100%.
did about 85%. It was too much for
Well, I
me.
haven't watched any of it, so.
You see when
Really?
they
I haven't watched it at all.
they
So
started that
I'm gonna
episode
come in
talking
with
about
you
quality
guys-
and they didn't even do their research.
I
Like,
don't need to do research.
this is
I know what
crazy.
he's done.
But the thing
I've
is,
seen
and that's
what
the
he's
thing.
done.
That's how I feel.
What do you mean
It's
you've
like
seen
you don't
what
even
he's
have
done?
to watch the whole
You didn't watch
thing.
the tape?
oh, okay. I know where you're going. I know where you're going.
You guys watched it. You actually
Yeah,
watched
absolutely.
it.
Yeah.
Did you watch it at my house, Mike?
I don't remember, but.
No, how old were we?
Well,
you
it
guys-
doesn't matter,
you guys
man.
are
Yeah,
old.
yeah.
Listen,
boys.
man.
You're old,
Listen,
I'm
man.
young.
Listen, man.
Wait,
Listen,
we, went,
man.
we went back. We made sure.
We've
we
been
made
watching
sure
those
we-
things
man.
since the squiggly lines
Right?
on the TV, and you got to
right?
bang
You
on the
got to
TV
scramble
to
it?
get Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Oh
Wow.
man.
He said
You see
when
a
there
little
was
nipple, you're like, ooh.
there was sound, but no, you couldn't see nothing.
Yeah,
But
man.
yeah, R. Kelly, man. You guys hop into this one because again, I haven't seen the docuseries, so I know you guys are gonna be telling me some stuff I haven't seen.
So I'll say this to start it off. I think all of us were too young to understand and fully grasp the whole story or the whole situation. For example, I'll personally put myself out there that I remember seeing R. Kelly at the BET Awards at 1 year. And I thought like, oh, that means the trial's over. And that was like a couple months after it was out.
Yeah.
So like, oh, okay. Then clearly like nothing came of it. So it's not real, blah, blah. Only to find out when I'm watching this documentary that it's been like 3 years, 4 years, going on 6. So
What do you think? You think it's social media because there was no social media back then? It didn't really get blown up as it is right now.
No, I think it's the fact that R. Kelly's catalog is impeccable.
So people just didn't
And
care. They just kinda bypassed it.
Exactly.
Absolutely, but I also think too it goes with everything. Like the fact that, like I said, at our age, like even I've heard other people talk about how many people are looking up R. Kelly right now and listening more to his music now. But a lot of it is young kids because they actually don't know who R. Kelly is. Yeah. Right? Like, so when we're growing up listening to this guy, and of course, you're right, like his genius in music has gotten people to turn their eyes and say, okay, yeah, he's doing this or doing that, but his music's great. But then other people that don't really know the situation are like, all right, well, I'm just listening to music. For example, I never knew that Pied Piper was Pied Piper was a person that lured children away from their villages with music.
With music, yeah, for sure. I didn't learn that like recently. I found out about that basically kind of listening.
Nah, man, I learned that at the doc. I learned that
Oh,
from the
no.
documentary.
I
was
heard that a
singing
couple
that, like,
years
yeah.
ago.
Yeah.
I was singing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Bro, it's your boyfriend. Like I always say that. Like,
But you know what? For me, with the R. Kelly stuff, it was like when the video came out. I think because again, I am young.
And you're a
compared
girl,
to
man. Like,
you seasoned folk in the room. But
we
when
are
I
seasoned,
heard about the R. Kelly, like, oh, he peed on a girl, I didn't even realize that she was underage. I thought that she was a grown woman. Like, he was having sex and then this was what he was into.
Right.
And on top of that, everybody was making it a joke.
Right.
You know, like the skits and whatever, and everybody thought it was funny. So at the time, I wasn't even processing the severity of it all.
Yeah.
Right? So watching the docuseries now, it really started to make me think about all of his music. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I
I've
am
been
having
doing
a
it, man.
very hard time listening to anything but Happy People. Every
Nah, I can't even
song
listen to any of
he has out is in some type of relation to he's telling us like
what he's been doing.
What he's been
Why
doing.
Happy People ain't about that too?
You're right. It
there
could
might be something in there that he's saying,
Could
like,
be.
yo.
No, but if
know?
you actually go back and listen to a lot of this stuff, he drops a line or
Yeah.
it's the Pied Piper. He says these things in his music.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
He
My
like
mind's telling me no.
Right?
no, but that's what I'm saying.
understand?
He's been these things have been hidden. I guess you could say messages in his music for a long time. For me personally, I think there were stages to some of the things that happened with him. Like I going way back, I remember hearing about Aaliyah and him and the age difference.
Yeah.
So I heard about that, but at that time I didn't really like. I don't think anybody made it a big deal. So it was kind of like, okay, that happened, but it wasn't really a big deal. Then
And it
I would
was so
say,
short too,
yeah.
right?
Then I think he kind of, potentially. Not, I don't want to say fell off because he never fell off music wise.
Yeah.
But fell off the scene where
he was low key.
low key with that type of stuff.
Right.
And then obviously the sex tapes and certain things came out.
Right.
And then different trials started happening, so he kind of popped back up, and you're like, well, I mean, is he into this stuff or is he not? And then once there was no charges ever laid or he wasn't actually considered like a crime was committed, right? It then it's like, okay, well, are these accusations? Because we all know that once you start making money and once you're in that type of profile, that you have these situations that you run into where people are looking for a cash grab or
Definitely.
a payday, right? So it's like,
Right.
But I don't
is it
think
one of those?
I
And-
don't. Sorry, but I don't think anybody thought it was an accusation because it was video proof. Like that was R. Kelly. They balled out his name.
Listen, let me tell you something.
You
okay?
know, like how could that be an accusation?
No, but I mean, I remember even like during the docuseries, even some of the radio host shows who were talking about it,
Mm-hmm.
they said, you know, the person in the video looks or resembles R. Kelly, and I mean, for most of us,
Nah, man,
we
they
said,
lie, man.
I figured, like, to me,
They lying, man.
It
If
resembled
if that's
him.
the case.
It
They
looked-
didn't see the video I saw, man. Because I'm gonna tell you something. I never seen him peeing on no girl or any of that stuff. What I saw is him going down on a girl, someone knock on the door and say, "Yo, Robert," and he turns his head. Like, to me,
Jeez, you remember details.
yeah, I remember.
Memory's pretty
Hold on. I remember that it was on Kazaa. If
My
y'all remember
God.
that program, shouts Kazaa when you never had an iPad or iPod.
wow,
But anyways,
all those youngins, go look that up.
yeah, I don't ask me how I remember that, but I vividly remember someone saying, "Yo, Robert," and even in the documentary,
Yeah.
they mentioned that.
Yeah.
And as soon as I heard that, I was like, "Yo,
That's
because that's what got me as a kid." I was like, "Oh, well, then it can't be him because even though it looks like him and they're saying his name." How is he not guilty? Or maybe she is of age or something. Like, I just didn't know the actual details to be like, why is he free right now? What's going on?
But yeah, you have to remember too, right? When these guys have money, they're gonna have good lawyers, right? So I mean, there's certain things to us 1 and 1 equals 2, but it's the lawyer's job to make it look like the 1 and 1 is not equaling 2.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
But you know, sorry, but you know, I'm gonna bring up Michael Jackson for a second because regardless if he was convicted and found guilty with Michael, it was always out there like he's a pedophile. He's a
Yeah.
pedophile.
Yeah.
R. Kelly, that wasn't it.
Yeah.
It
No,
wasn't.
no, it's
People
totally
didn't
different.
say,
Yeah.
"Oh, he's a pedophile. He's a
Yeah.
pedophile." It was just he pees on girls.
Yeah.
You see the difference there, and I feel like R. Kelly
I think
knew.
it was out there too. About
Not,
not
like
like
Michael.
Michael. Not like Michael.
Not
Not
like
like
Michael.
Michael.
You
No,
didn't
no,
look
no.
at R. Kelly and say, "Yo, he's a pedophile."
You want to know the difference?
Michael, look at Michael though. That's
No,
that's
no,
the
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
That's not the difference, man. The difference is that it was a white child.
Oh,
That's the difference.
100%.
That's the difference.
Well,
man.
that's a big difference,
That's
and
the
I also
100%.
and I also
and on
feel,
top of it, they had money. That family had money.
well, that I think those are good key points, but I think too, for a lot of the things that I guess you could say people are related to and talk to about Michael, the parents were in my head vividly involved.
Yeah,
So
they're
like these
allowed.
parents
Absolutely.
were taking their kids to Never Ever Land and
Yeah.
these ranches and stuff like and leaving them there.
Yeah.
Versus, you know, in R. Kelly's videos, you're just seeing
that's the
a
thing.
young
That's the
female
thing, too.
who you might not have any guidance or might not really know what she's doing there. You know what I mean?
Everybody knew Michael Jackson had that Never Never Ranch or whatever it's called.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
everybody
Never
knew
Never Land,
little
yeah.
little kids were going there, and he was sleeping in the bed with the kids. Everybody knew that. Nobody
Yeah.
knew R. Kelly was
Well-
had these girls in his
Yeah,
house.
and
like,
I don't
No,
wanna-
no, that's not true. People did know, but I feel like the circumstances are different because if somebody is promised, if you are from a community where you don't have much and you are looking for
Absolutely.
a quick grab, and your
Absolutely.
child is talented, and R. Kelly is telling you that your child is talented,
Absolutely.
then your judgment is swayed. Because think about it. If you know you can provide for your child and your child has a talent, but you're good.
Yeah,
At the
yeah.
end of the day, are you just gonna entrust your child to some random man? I don't care who you are. I'm gonna leave you to be in studio and there's rumors R. Kelly was going to high schools. R. Kelly done already married Aaliyah and she was underage, whatever. You're hearing these things about this person, but you're still allowing your child to be over there. Why is that?
And I'll be honest with you, watching the docuseries, I think a lot of the parents made some bad decisions.
For 1,000%.
Hold on a second.
A lot of
Hold on a
parents.
second. Hold on a second. I'm gonna say two things. Number one, everybody in that documentary made mistakes. Everybody
No, no,
failed. it.
yeah, for sure,
Every
for
single
sure.
one. And
For sure.
and the one that got me the most was the high school coach, because not only was he a coach, but he was an officer that specifically investigated sex crimes.
So he should have known better.
Now, you brought up he went to high schools. He didn't go to high schools. He went to a high school.
One particular,
Well,
one in particular.
One particular high
many
school.
times.
And
many
many
times.
many
You're
times.
right. Sorry.
How is that not a red
Yeah.
flag. There, you don't have any kids there. You don't know kids like that, and people
You're well
talk.
into your
Young
almost 30.
people talk. So somebody's gonna say, "Oh yeah, like Sade gave R. Kelly her number." Blah blah blah. He's watching his games. You're the coach, and you see this, and you even say in the documentary,
Yeah, he did. He did.
"Oh, well, the first time I saw this was
I
weird."
thought it was weird. Yeah, he did say that.
So then what happened? What happened the second time?
I-
Third,
and-
100th
and-
time?
And this is what I think. I think a lot of people. I think his star power blinded a lot of people. So
Yeah, for
like
sure.
whether the school used it for clout or whether it's like R. Kelly's coming to our games. Okay, maybe that might be his niece or you know what I mean. I think like
I
you
hear you.
play these things
But
in your
then
head.
you shouldn't be on there. You
No,
shouldn't
You
be
know
on
what
like
it
that.
is?
For
In
sure,
the black
for sure.
community as a whole, these types of things are swept under the rug
Absolutely.
so often.
Big
So
time.
it's different because even if you go back to like slavery, it was a sport to watch young boys sleep with their mom. I don't know if you guys know this, but the term
did not know
motherfucker,
that.
No, I
the
didn't.
term motherfucker comes from slave masters
mouth.
make
I'm just joking. Go on.
slave masters making young boys sleep with their mothers. And then it was a running joke to be like, oh, you motherfucker, you motherfucker. And then it turned into, okay, you're sleeping with family members. That stuff started from slavery. And then
I
it
didn't
was
even
like
know that.
quiet. Look how many people then it comes from incest. You know what I mean? Like you'll joke around and be like, other cultures have all this incest, whatever, but African Americans, a lot of them behind closed doors, all of that stuff is going on. So when you see little things like that, and because we are so like keep everything
Hush,
hush
hush.
hush, keep everything to ourselves, it's like you see these awkward, oh, I thought that was a bit weird, but let me not be in nobody else's business.
Business, yeah,
you know
for
what I
sure.
mean? And that in itself is a big problem. And that to me is like when you give somebody power, because it is a power thing.
Yeah.
You know? So for R. Kelly, it's like I'm getting away with. I feel like if somebody was to have maybe stopped him earlier, maybe it wouldn't have got this far. But if it's like I'm
but
getting
that's
away
like
with
way
this,
earlier-
why would he
earlier.
stop?
But that's
I
but
don't
that's
know if
why
that's
would he
true.
stop?
And the reason I'll say I don't know if that's true is that
How would you know?
I feel like more people had to do that because I'm sure that there's people that didn't make that list,
What do you mean?
like for the documentary, that
Yeah.
tried to do that, but something happened to them.
No, yeah, for sure. But okay, if you're a kid and you go to the store and you steal a gum, are you gonna be like, this is the first and last time I'm ever gonna steal? If you keep getting away with something, you're going to keep.
No,
doing
I
it.
I
keep
agree
doing
with
it.
you, but
Yeah.
I'm just saying I think that there's people that we didn't get to see because something happened to them. I'm not saying like, oh, he killed them, but
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
like something
But
happened
he's
to
paying them
like they
off.
got rid of them, they paid
Yeah,
them off,
yeah.
blah
But
blah.
you guys-
and
you-
the core
Mm-hmm.
is what you're talking about. The core should have been the ones to say, "Yo, what are you doing?"
Yeah.
But
But-
to
but
me,
this-
the core
They knew.
is they knew there's a
They
difference
helped
between
him. He couldn't have done all of that by
No,
himself.
but
there's a
but
difference
that's what I'm
between
saying.
knowing and helping.
Yeah.
No,
Like
some of
if
them,
I know
legit, some of them
if
helped.
I know like somebody I know went and robbed a bank, and then you come back to me and say, "Hey, did you know that?" Oh well, morally you're wrong. Okay, that's different from me being outside of the
And holding the door
bank,
open.
holding
Yeah.
the door open.
But he had
that's
both.
what they did.
Yeah.
but this
yeah,
is what I'm saying,
I agree.
right? I think for a lot of people,
Super
whether
Plus, real quiet right
whether
now,
it be,
huh?
Yeah, I'm
whether
listening.
it be in his camp or not, like, and they mentioned this. R. Kelly had a lot of people signing documents, not being able to talk about certain things, whether it be female or whether it be you knew about situations, right? Because I also highly believe that, okay, yes, you are this superstar, but I highly doubt that the record label, like executives or people in the record label who are putting out this music fully knew to what extent R. Kelly.
They-
Listen,
they
man.
definitely
I
do.
100% disagree with you,
Yeah,
man.
they def-
Listen, man.
I'm not saying
We
that they
got.
didn't know.
Listen, you gonna get me in trouble with the public out here. We got churches, schools, police. We got all these big establishments doing this all day, every day until
don't get me-
somebody catches wind of it, and then it's like, okay, yeah, we gotta do something.
But that's the same reason why, though, I feel like when they said Jay-Z and all these guys refused to be part of it, I think they knew he was doing this stuff.
Of course they knew.
Right?
You're going on
that's what
tour
I'm saying.
with somebody.
How many people did know?
Easy
but
now,
didn't say
easy
anything?
now. Don't be
There's
talking about
no
Jay.
way. First of all, first
They
and
might
foremost,
Jay might stop this podcast.
First
Stop
and
this.
foremost, timelines. Let's just
No,
be
you're right
clear.
though. You're right.
Think about some of the ages of these girls. At first, it was like, okay, R. Kelly's like 28 or whatever, and he's talking to 14-year-olds. Obviously, that's like dead wrong. If you see somebody talking to a girl
Absolutely.
that's 14, that's not okay. I feel like though the younger girls, he was keeping a little bit more hidden. But when we're talking about 17, 18, 19-year-old girls, it's still morally wrong. But at the end of the day, you're a man, and if a girl looks better than a girl your own age, what are you gonna say?
Yeah.
What are you gonna say? Because if she's out here,
You got to think about it. R. Kelly
and I'm
was-
not saying it's right. Yeah,
R. Kelly was a cash
no.
cow, man. So it's like,
but that's
everybody's
why a lot
on
of
his
people made a
payroll.
lot of bad
That's
exactly.
why
He has a
people don't
bunch
say
of
nothing.
yes people
Everybody's on
around
his
him.
payroll.
But
Yup.
you're also missing a very big point. He's illiterate. Like he literally can't read and write. So not
he
only
has a checkbook.
is everybody he has a checkbook, but when they say, hey, sign this contract, he doesn't know what he's signing, really.
yeah.
So not only are they using the cash cow, they're
Yeah.
abusing the cash cow. So, okay, that's what you do. Do your thing because I'm getting paid 3 times as much
Yeah.
as if I went somewhere else.
But I want to go back to the celebrity aspect because I completely agree with you. Yeah, his inner camp, they
Circle.
were helping
Yeah.
him. But I do think that there are some of the celebrities who said they didn't want to be involved because they know fully well what R. Kelly was doing.
Yeah, they knew
and
about
they
it.
also have secrets or whatever of
Yeah,
their
for sure.
own.
100%.
Can I add
You know?
something though?
100%.
Yeah.
And wait, before you say what you say, we're gonna say first class.
disrespectful.
Part of the documentary that bothered me was Chance the Rapper, because I feel like
I didn't get that far.
he put himself in one of those situations too. Because for him, he recorded the track with R. Kelly, hearing the rumors and the video was already out. All those things were already out, but it's now he's kind of saying, "I made a mistake." You knew when you recorded that song with him that he was about this.
Hold on a second. I'll say something on that.
What were you going to say?
Before I get to that,
Okay.
I feel that with what you're saying with Champ, why is it that a man or a woman can't look at something and be like, damn, I was wrong, I made a mistake, and grow from it?
But I'm not saying that. I agree with the fact that he's owning up to the fact that he feels like he did a mistake. But like I said, at the same time, he knew that R. Kelly was. Everybody had heard about they've heard about the video.
Yeah.
They probably saw the video. They heard about the allegations.
Right.
We all knew about Aaliyah.
Right.
And he still recorded the song.
Yeah, but
Because at that point it wasn't
Look
fully
how
wrong.
many
to
collabs,
mainstream.
look how many
Tank-
collabs R.
Tank and
Kelly
Neil.
has.
Yeah.
That's what- like,
But that's
that's
what I'm saying.
But it's like
They were
All those
they were
think
touring
what
with it.
you're
all those
trying
people
to
were looking
say-
at the money aspect of it.
Yeah.
I'm recording a song with R. Kelly. It's
Yeah.
gonna make me money.
Yeah.
We're good to go. Right?
At the end of the day, he's a musical genius. So
Yeah, for sure.
if R. Kelly and Chance the Rapper is very talented, but he's
up
still on
and
the
coming.
come up.
Yep.
Yeah.
And if I can work with somebody who's gonna boost
gonna
my
do it.
career, I'm going to do it
Yeah.
because what you do behind closed doors is none of
not
my
my
business.
business,
And
exactly.
I feel like Chance didn't apologize because he felt like he morally did something wrong.
No, I don't
he
think so either.
apologized because, oh shit, now it's gonna look like
Yes,
I'm
of course.
co-signing this
I
and
truly
I
believe
have
he
my
did.
own ass to say.
Because you have to remember too,
I
Chance does a
100%
lot of
agree.
public type stuff. Gets a lot of
Absolutely.
funding,
Absolutely.
to do stuff for, and there's no way you can be part of that
Yeah.
and get funding for the stuff that you do.
Absolutely.
It's kind of like
but
when
I also
niggas
think,
cheat and
I
then you guys
also-
apologize, but you're really just apologizing because you got caught.
Why'd you say you guys, first of all? That sounded very personal.
Do you feel attacked?
Sarah's in her feelings.
I'm good.
She's in her feelings.
I'm good. But like at the same time, I look at it like I'm not gonna go that far because I don't know. Like I do feel like sometimes we turn a blind eye, and then when everything, how do you know? Just because he's Chance the Rapper doesn't mean that he was exposed to all of that stuff,
No,
right? Like just like how we
he
all
was
got
just exposed to the stuff that what
that
he's
we were
saying is that
masses.
he knew.
But that's what I mean. Like until I saw this documentary,
But
like this documentary.
prior to the documentary.
Hold on a second.
Okay.
This documentary for me personally connected the dots and put everything together for me to look at one big
So
like
so
puzzle and look at it and be like, oh wow.
So
But
I'm
I
gonna
also
play,
feel like
I want to play
we're-
devil's
we're-
advocate right now. If you prior to the docuseries, right?
Right.
Hearing what or knowing what you knew prior to that, so you knew
Right.
that he was with Aaliyah. Sorry,
Yeah.
Right.
You knew about the video,
Right.
You heard about the allegations.
Right.
You know that there was a trial or whatever the stuff is.
Yeah.
Right? Would you, as an upcoming artist, knowing that information, record a song with R. Kelly?
Absolutely. And the reason I'll say absolutely is because I'm putting myself in the position that I was in before. Before I even seen this documentary, I had a debate of R. Kelly being the king of R&B and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And I said, crazy. He's absolutely the king of R&B. And I've already heard these rumors or these allegations.
Yeah.
I've already heard about Aaliyah. I still bumped R. Kelly.
But
you gotta-
And
you gotta-
hold on,
you have to separate those two
hold
things.
on. I don't have to separate those two things because I'm going based on what my knowledge was. I think that you're assuming because Chance the Rapper is in that realm that he must know all this information.
No,
But
no.
they probably know more than we do.
So, but
How
no,
do you
no, no.
know
But
that?
wait, hold on.
Celebrities, as
Two
much
questions.
as no,
Okay.
as much as celebrities, like to us, it seems like celebrity circle is such a big
No, it's
thing,
small,
but
yeah.
it's a small community.
small
so
community.
the rumors, everybody already knows everybody else's dirt.
For
so
sure.
I don't believe that Chance or whatever, they have not already formulated opinions. We're not talking about let somebody like Jay-Z, where at the end of the day, to me, when Jay-Z was working with R. Kelly, these were more so rumors.
Nah, man,
but Chance the
I'm gonna touch
Rapper,
that.
buddy,
Wait, hold on.
That's
Wait,
crazy.
Okay, so going back to what you said, knowing all those things, you would record the song with R. Kelly. That's what you said, correct, right?
Because I did know those things.
No, I know.
Right.
So as an artist now,
Right.
right? You recorded the song with R. Kelly.
Right.
Docket series comes out. What would you say now?
I would do the exact same thing.
Saying that you made a mistake,
Yes, like I'm telling you guys.
but you recorded it knowing.
Hold on a second. I'm telling you, I knew about these allegations before I saw the documentary.
Yes.
Me.
You personally.
I
yeah.
still listened to R. Kelly after I knew. And hold on.
Okay.
You're asking the question. Let me
Yeah,
answer
yeah.
in full. You asked me. I told you. I watched the video. I told you. I heard somebody say Robert. I know his name is Robert.
Yeah.
I have all the information in my head. You guys are like, how do you remember that? So I clearly have that information.
Yeah.
And even still, I never wavered. I never stopped listening to him. I never said, hey, R. Kelly can't be the king because of these allegations. Until, again, I saw the documentary and that was like, whoa.
So
okay,
here's-
I didn't know this. I didn't know this. I didn't know this. And I put it all together. I'm like, okay, yeah, I can't support it.
I'll give you kind
I
of the
feel
breakdown
like
in my head.
that's so shit because what you're saying is I knew that R. Kelly was a fucking rapist,
but just not. As
but
deep. Yeah,
I just didn't know it was that deep.
But that's
He was
you
still
can't look at,
wrong.
You can't look at
Okay.
Chance the Rapper as Chance the Rapper. Chance the Rapper is a regular person like us. So it's
I
like
totally understand it. But what I'm saying, okay, even for I'll give an example. Kanye West. Kanye West, do I resonate or do I
I know.
associate
How could you
myself?
cancel
Yeah,
Kanye but not?
exactly, and not
That,
cancel R. Kelly.
Wait, hold on.
that's
terrible.
hypocritical right there.
Hold
Yeah.
on.
So
Absolutely.
I said I did cancel him. What do you?
Yeah,
fucking-
now.
No,
But
now.
what R. Kelly did was worse than what Kanye
But,
West did.
God.
but again, I'm telling you, I did not know the ramifications of what it was. Like I said to you earlier, I seen him at the BET Awards, so I'm like, oh, okay.
Kanye West wore a hat, bro.
Hold on a second.
R. Kelly peed on an underage girl.
Did I see him pee on the underage girl?
But
I did not. What I'm saying is that I did not know the ramifications. When I seen everything put together, then I can say, oh, okay, it's this or it's that.
So why did you cancel Kanye so quick?
What do you mean? Why did I heard what Kanye said. I'm old enough now to listen to what Kanye's saying and put it in a perfect perception for myself.
So wait,
okay,
you're saying
hold
two
on.
different things then.
So,
'Cause
so,
he's saying,
so for you, right? Kind of what
but
I
Chance the
gather.
Rapper is not the same age as me?
I'm not
no,
talking
but
about
what
Chance.
I was about to defend you,
No, I'm asking.
but what?
Go ahead.
Okay, what I thought he was saying at first. Okay, sorry. Let me ask you the question. Are you talking about you then, like when this happened, and you being like, "Oh, I'm not gonna cancel R. Kelly because at the time you didn't have all this information," or are you talking about you at your age, just right before
it's
you
two
watched the?
different-
Yeah, because that's two different things. Because if you're talking about whatever year that was when all that information came out, and you're like, "He's not canceled for me because
He's too young to understand.
you
what's
didn't
going
really
on.
understand
Yeah.
exactly."
But I'm,
Is that what you're talking
But
about,
I'm
or are you
saying-
talking about just right before you watched?
no, I'm saying yes. What you're saying right now about
Yeah.
my age, but I'm saying if Chance is the same age, which I believe
He might be in the
He's
same.
around
I
the
could
same,
be,
right?
around the
I
same.
could be wrong, but I'm saying if I can look at it like that and be like, at the age I wasn't at that age where I can look at it and be like, oh, like, I could say like, yeah, that's wrong, but I never really grasped how wrong it is or whatever. Blah. It was one of those things that it happened and it went.
No.
Just like
That
any
I
other-
agree with you, but I thought you meant like what? Let's say the documentary came out on December 31st. Up until December 30th, you were like, "There's nothing wrong with what R. Kelly did," but now you're a grown ass
No,
man.
for
so
me,
you should know.
for me, even the fact of like, I felt like, and anybody else can say how they felt. I personally felt like this stuff was so long ago. I didn't even realize that there was so much things still happening. And even when you bring up Aaliyah, like, I never really knew that story, to be honest. Like, I knew he married Aaliyah at a young age.
Yeah.
I never knew what the age was. I never knew, like, was the parents cool with it? Were they not? What happened?
Yeah,
I never knew, like, how they got divorced. Like, I never knew the details to, like, put
Make an
myself in a
educated
position
decision. I feel like with-
to make an educated decision.
Yeah, I got
There
you.
I
go.
feel like with Aaliyah, it's different because when Aaliyah was popping or whatever, we were children.
Yeah.
So we're looking at it different. To me, because Aaliyah was famous, she was an adult to me. I didn't look at Aaliyah like she was a child. Whereas, let's say Kylie Jenner and Tyga, I'm an adult now. So when I hear that Kylie Jenner and Tyga are together, I can see like that's not right. So
But
I
that's
also
my
feel
point.
like, and like we're saying, social media, it's different. Like you hear something and it's gone.
Yeah.
With the Aaliyah situation, right? And it happened so quick. They were married and divorced before anybody even really knew about it. Exactly. So I get that part 100%.
But if you can get it for me, you should get it for him too.
No,
I get that
no.
you're saying it's
I
small.
agree with that. I don't. That's what I'm saying. I don't put Chance on a pedestal where it's like
Yeah.
he doesn't
No,
think the way
he's
we
still a
think.
person.
For me, and like I said, at the end of the day, what R. Kelly did was wrong. But there's certain things that I feel at the end of the day. Do I have to agree with his music? I could separate myself from that.
I can't.
But
Nah.
no. But what I'm saying is, right? Like I feel like there still has to be some sort of separation in certain things. Because I was gonna say with Kanye West, do I agree with Kanye West's views? No. Would I go out there and buy a Kanye West album and stuff like that because I know how he thinks and what he supports? The answer is no. But is Kanye West a musical genius? Yes, hands
Yeah,
down.
but
I cannot take that away from him.
Okay, but
I
we're
can't take
talking.
that
That's
away
like
from Kels either.
I
But-
feel
but
like
that's
that's
what I'm
so disrespectful to put. You know,
Them
like,
on the same.
Yeah, because this is like
Absolutely.
two different things,
Absolutely.
and but I want to
different
ask
things,
you.
for sure.
So now that you've watched it, you know everything. Are you still gonna play R. Kelly? If I hire you for my wedding,
Me personally,
Yeah.
So so I'm caught because
Yeah, I don't think you could do that.
No, I wanna know.
I'll be
I
honest.
wanna
I'll be
know.
honest. For me personally, I'll delete R. Kelly's whole album.
Yeah.
And never listen to it again. I don't have problems with those type of things
Yeah.
because once I find out and I can realize, like you said, make an educated
Yeah.
decision, I can separate myself from it.
Yeah.
Right. But I know I'm gonna get caught in a scenario where someone's gonna ask me to play his music, and I'm gonna have reserved feelings about playing it.
But will you bring
So-
that up?
Yeah, like I'm gonna be like, "Are you sure this is what you want to do?" And to be honest,
I think
and
that's
to
a
be
job. Like,
honest,
it's-
No,
yeah,
that's why I said you can't. The way that the question was brought,
Yeah.
that was my
And,
only.
and
like,
I'll be honest, I went to a party last Saturday, and they played an R. Kelly track, and there was a lot of booing.
Yeah.
There was a lot of standing up. Like
That's
people are
'cause
ready
it's,
to.
it's just a thing right now.
Well,
Yeah,
but that's what I'm
absolutely.
saying, right?
Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
it's one of those things now where, as even if playing his music, like, are you gonna get that reaction? Let's say 5 months from now.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? If you're driving down the street in your car with your windows rolled down, and someone's like, "Is she really bumping R. Kelly?"
I
Like,
can't,
can't even
bump
listen
it.
to
I
an R. Kelly
can't.
song.
I'm
No,
like constantly.
I haven't even
skipping.
seen the docu-series yet, and I still can't even listen to
No,
an R.
it's
Kelly
so
song.
when you. I don't know, cause I was laughing to myself the other night because I'm like, shit. When I get married, I can't play Happy People. Like little things
Yeah,
or
there's a
step
lot
in
of
the name
things.
of love. Like I don't
believe
want
I Can
that.
Fly probably played for everybody's graduation.
Right? And it's like.
That
To,
played in
but to
churches,
me,
bro.
the way that people are like, oh, so devastated, I can't play R. Kelly. But at the end of the day, and I'm not trying to say that he's not talented. He has songs that slap. It's just that he's not the only artist. Like
Yeah.
you're
No,
making it
there's
seem
tons
like
of-
now we
And
don't have
all
R&B.
of those songs that you're talking about are songs he did way back. then.
Yeah.
It's
Hold
not
on,
like he's
though.
dropping something new. That's
Hold
like,
on,
oh my
Exactly.
gosh, I
Hold
gotta
on,
listen to
though.
this.
Exactly.
But then that's the only part that I will compare to Kanye West. When you guys are like, oh my God, I still gotta listen to him, because you can say that about anybody that does wrong. You could be like, there's always another artist.
But I feel like it's again. I hate comparing the two because it's like
I'm only comparing that part
yeah, but
because the
to
actions
me
are not
it's like
comparable.
a disrespectful it's like a slap in the face to me to R. Kelly's victims. If you are like, yeah, but at the end of the day, I might not like R. Kelly, but his music is so good. I'm not going to throw away his catalog. But it's like, you're disrespecting women who have to deal with this every single
And the
day
thing about R.
for the
Kelly
rest of
that,
their
that
lives.
you guys even talk about, he was dropping this stuff in his music.
Exactly.
Kanye
And
doesn't
that's
talk
what
about
I'm
none of this
saying.
political stuff.
Exactly.
Well, maybe not. But either way, you're absolutely right about R. Kelly. That he's putting in that in his music, and I feel like I have no problem dropping his music. Let's be clear.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like, being honest, I don't know if that's the reason that pushes me over the top. Like, I don't know if he never mentioned it in his songs, if it would be harder for me.
It should be.
No.
First
I
of
don't
all,
think so.
it should
I
I'm
don't
not
think
saying it
so.
shouldn't be.
I don't think
You're
there would be a
absolutely
difference.
right that it should be, but I question myself like,
But
because
again-
now I know if I listen to an R. Kelly song, all I can picture is that he's talking about a little girl.
But you got to
Yeah.
think about
Right?
it though. When artists create music, we listen to it from our perspective.
Yeah. Yeah,
we
for
don't
sure,
really know
100%.
what anybody's talking
Absolutely.
about.
Yeah,
100%, 100%.
for sure.
Absolutely.
But to
And-
know
now
that
you know.
he's like, just the littlest things, like feeling on your booty. The guy said, "Oh, I went into the studio and he had some look like 14-year-old girl and he's rubbing up her bum." Like
Yeah.
that type of stuff is like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
how could you be in the club and you hear that song and be like,
And not
yeah,
think about where
like
it's
not
Yeah,
think
yeah,
about
yeah,
like where this is coming from, and that's what I mean. That's why I feel like his music, it should be like
We
not
could
up
all-
for
we could
debate.
all agree that R.
It's
Kelly is
done.
canceled. So
Yeah, but and I mean, even with that being said, there's certain, like, you could say streaming services
Yeah,
who
they won't even play it.
they
Take
did
it down.
drop it, but then other ones are like, I'm sorry, we can't drop. We'll put it in the background,
Yeah.
but it won't be part of our main rotation. You know what I mean?
And I also
So-
think for me too, I'm not the biggest R. Kelly fan. Like, he has a lot of great music, but that's not my shit.
But you see, like, I
then
am.
that's just me.
But
Like,
I am.
yeah, like I
So
get
that's,
it.
That's
Like,
that's
it's
why I was
easy
like-
for me to cancel him
That's why I
because
was
it's like,
Yeah,
that comment
yeah.
is not fair, because it's the same thing for you and Kanye. Like, to be honest, me, and I'm not even saying like I'm dropping Kanye, but me not listening to a Kanye album, I haven't listened to his last
Yeah, but
three before
again,
that.
And I
Yeah.
mean,
it's
So I'm
like
not that big
no,
of a-
but
and
that's
even-
not what I mean.
Yeah.
Well, that is what I said, but it just drives me crazy because I'm like, if you're like abused in any type of way, that is something that affects you with everything you do
Anytime
for
you
the
hear
rest
it.
of your
Absolutely.
life.
Yeah,
There's nothing that Kanye has done that it's like this is going to walk with somebody for the rest of their
You
life.
can't say that though.
It's facts. What
Nah,
did
you can't
Kanye
say
do?
that.
Express his opinion that we just think it's bullshit.
Kanye's an idiot. We all know
Kanye,
that.
exactly. Kanye is not out here abusing people.
I understand.
and,
I understand
like,
that part,
There's
but you don't
no
know how
comparison.
things affect people. You can.
if
You
Kanye became president, it's a different story.
Yeah.
Because then he could do something. But right now he's selling sneakers.
I can't.
Trying
There's
to.
no way. Like,
Either way, I'm not saying that it's the same level.
Yeah.
I'm just saying you don't know. Like, there's so many things that people do that you don't know how it affects somebody.
yeah.
Like,
And
so you can't. You
right. I
can't,
agree.
You can't say
but
that it
there's
doesn't
nothing that you can tell me that Kanye has done that is affecting a young woman who was practically kidnapped or whatever, held hostage, was told when they could eat, when they could shit, when they could shower, had to sleep with this grown ass man that call him daddy, sleep with a girl they've never even met before. You're trying to tell me that anything that Kanye has said in the last year and a half is on the same level as what mentally those females go
I'm
through
not
for
trying
the
to
rest of
tell
their
you that.
lives?
No, for sure.
I'm
Well, what
saying-
you
Different-
said
different
was,
diff-
oh, you can't say how somebody's affected. What we
You
were
can't.
talking about was Kanye compared to R. Kelly.
Well, actually, what we were talking about, you said that you're not that big of a R. Kelly fan.
No,
And
but
then
where my comment
hold on a
came
second,
from-
Hold on a second. And then I said the same thing. I said I haven't listened to the last three of Kanye West's albums, so it wasn't that hard for me.
But those are two different comments.
But they're not. That's how this came up.
I said, did anybody else hear me say that?
Am I lying?
Did anybody else
hear
hear
what
me
she's
say that when you talked about Kanye West and his what he does and how it affects other people was a completely different comment than when I said, "Oh, Kanye West is not canceled to me musically, but I can see why." I'm sorry, R. Kelly is not
I
canceled
think-
to me. It was two different comments.
So, they were two different comments. I think the way it was trying to be worded is we don't know how I think in either situation, someone's affected. So, for instance, I could say you're dumb, and
Yeah.
someone's like, you know what, that doesn't bother me, rolls off your shoulder. Whereas somebody else is like, you know what, I'm dumb, like I'm a nobody, I'll never become nothing. Like they might take it overboard. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I think it might be a little bit exaggerated, but we honestly and truthfully don't know to what effect Kanye does affect people. Not saying that what R. Kelly has done hasn't affected those females in those situations. That makes sense to most people.
Sure.
But to give a rundown, like you're absolutely right, right? But to give a rundown, you made a comment earlier, like he's just an artist, like you could pick another artist, and that's what I was saying to you, that people that listen to R. Kelly can say the same thing to you about Kanye, and I was saying that was the only comparison I make, because you can say that about any artist that does wrong. You can say, well, there's always another artist. Usually people have, and people have talked about it, they have moments with songs and blah, blah,
Yeah,
blah.
they have moments, and
so
they
that's
have
why it's hard for them. And I'm not saying it's right. Like I said, I
think there's people who really connect with some of these people because once again, we all know about R. Kelly, what he was doing, even to the point when they were protesting at his concerts. Like people are still lining up. They're like, "Well, I'm going to see R. Kelly tonight." Like that protesting didn't bother them or change their opinion on what they were gonna do. You know what I mean? It was just one of those things where it's like, okay, I mean, that's happening over there, but I'm over here and I'm gonna do my thing. And I mean, maybe you should have been paying attention to what they were protesting and what they were trying to say. But
So what should happen to R. Kelly right now?
Nothing's gonna happen to R. Kelly, to be completely honest, because
Isn't he
I
under
doubt it.
investigation or something right now?
Yeah,
and I
not
heard
really.
he's booking
He's trying to
shows
flee.
in Australia and
Yeah,
wherever
yeah.
else.
Yeah.
But the reason why I don't think too much is gonna come from this is because what is it? The statute of limitations. Number one, number two.
Is that even a thing? Because look
Yes.
at Bill
Yeah,
Cosby.
100%.
No, but how
I
far
know,
back is it?
I
though?
know, but we'll see.
Yeah.
And also, I don't know.
I think
this is just like this
so
is
I-
like I'm
I-
actually starting to get pissed now because this is like no, because honestly, if I'm being honest, I feel like it's fucked up that it's taking a whole documentary for this to even be
I
on
feel this
people's
is so-
minds
but
in the
late, though.
sense that and in the sense that look how many girls were in it, and there's probably so many more
who
that
are not involved.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure, 100%.
And again, really, all that I really care about is the fact, like, yo, that shit affects people in so many different. I don't really care like what we're just talking about, like play his music, don't play his music. It's not
Yeah.
that serious to me. Just like some people are like, oh, Kanye's canceled, whatever. It's at the end of the day, it's a song.
preference, yeah.
Yeah, and it's a preference. But to like, literally, this man is walking around laughing about it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw the video where he's like, "Oh,
birthday?
they should have."
You see
Not
his
even
birth-
that
oh,
one,
okay.
but the one where he's like, "Oh, they should have come at me with this 30 years ago. What are they gonna do when they tried to cancel him off Spotify?" He had a video out talking about, "Oh, they're wasting their time. I already had da 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 and achieved that, achieved this and that." So it's a mockery to him, and to me, it's just a slap in the face to the people who are truly affected by this. So that's what bothers
so
me.
to kind of I think I know you're saying it's upsetting you a little bit right now because it took the docuseries to kind of shed light on this, but I think kind of even going back to what First Class was saying, there's a lot of details that I think people didn't know that this docuseries brought light to. And I'll give you an example for me. Like I've always heard the things that have happened with R. Kelly. Like First Class said, he might have not known little details. You heard the Aaliyah, you heard certain things like that. But even with a lot of these females, when you see the time frame, when you see that some of these things stopped happening in like May of 2018, like to me that was yesterday. Like I didn't think that this stuff was still going on. Like I thought it happened. I thought
That's what I mean, yeah.
Right. So for me to see that these things are still going on, and like you said, R. Kelly's walking around, he's booking shows, he's doing these things. I'm like, what?
It's like two different levels now, because in the beginning it was like the girls were saying, oh, he would fly me out and I would stay there for the weekend or whatever, and I would go home.
Yeah.
And now it's a thing where he's isolating them.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
I think it's like two different.
Well,
Levels.
explain that he's been doing it the whole time. But if you were a girl that gave him trouble,
He would
Yeah.
cut
he
you off.
wouldn't. No, but he wouldn't cut you off right away.
Well, yeah, he
Like
would
he'd
see.
keep you around for a couple months, and then so I feel like that's part of it. Plus, again, how many people got paid off,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, there's
it's
a lot of who got paid
because
off.
you got
Yeah.
paid off. You told me that Kama Show was one of the girls, right?
She stayed with him for a while.
Well, there you go.
K. Michelle?
K. Michelle, yeah,
Shit, I
she-
didn't
But
know
but
that.
but
She lived
but
with
there was even in the video or the docuseries, there's one of the older women, not the underage ones,
Yeah.
but she was like, I was with him in, I don't know whether it be what she
Yes,
considers
yes,
a
I know what you're
monogamous
talking
relationship, but she's like, I was with him for about 2 years before he decided to like move her in,
Yeah,
and
and
then
let her know about
and then
this.
she started going through what all the other females were going through.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And to touch on what you said,
Mm-hmm.
on one end I agree with you, but on the other end I think
Wait, what?
it's enlightening.
what part?
I'm telling you
Okay.
that you're like, it took so long for like after people see the docuseries, but I feel like the docuseries enlightens you into so much more that
Yeah,
it's
for
like
sure.
it's in your face.
For sure.
Yeah, but what does this change?
But he's saying
you
she-
said
what
yourself
she's saying is
that
the girls that this happened to, nothing is gonna come of it now.
And
Yeah.
she's absolutely right,
Yeah.
but
Who
I
says
mean,
that? Sarah?
Sarah,
Me?
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
you're absolutely right, but it's not gonna hurt the girls. Like it can only
what do
benefit
you
them.
mean?
Nah, it's gonna hurt.
No,
them.
whoa, wait,
They're
hold
pretty
on.
much just reliving it now.
So yes,
Yeah.
Yeah,
you
it's
are
reliving
reliving
it, but you're getting people behind you.
But to do
But
what?
what? For what? What does that
wait,
do?
to give you
Mentally,
hope
you can't
on-
fix that stuff, eh?
I'm not saying
that
that
type
you
of
can
stuff cannot
fix
be
it.
fixed. What? R. Kelly could go to jail. R. Kelly could die.
Those girls are gonna be messed up,
Those
regardless
girls
of
are
what
gonna be
happens.
messed up for the rest of their
Absolutely.
lives. So to
100%.
me, it's like
But once again, I do think the docu-series is bringing light to it to a point where it's gonna have to stop.
It's not.
versus
How?
It's not gonna
versus
stop. Because from what I again, I haven't seen it, but from what I understand, these girls want to stay there.
yeah, there's a bunch that want
there's
to stay.
there's
Okay,
there's different.
So
there's
you're
different
talking
ones.
about
There's
two different
ones.
things now.
There's different
So
ones.
what's happened, which it goes over in the docuseries, is that basically he takes these girls and he has them at a young age, and then obviously as you grow older, you become of age. So some of these girls are girls that are underage
to start with.
to start with,
Yeah.
and now they're of age. So
Now they-
it's hard for you to do certain things.
They can stay.
And then you have to prove certain things as well. There's a thing called a wellness check that they talked about it. Because he could get charged, whether they're underage or not, for having anybody treated like that, right? But they have to prove it.
They have to prove it, and they need one of those girls to actually say these things happen.
Right.
And a lot of
Well-
them will go on video and say that it didn't happen.
And
I'm good.
And a part of that is that the cops were also working with them. So they tell him like, oh yeah, a wellness check is coming. Okay. Make sure you clear this up or clear that up or whatever, right? Or at least that's what they said in the docuseries.
So kind of my thought process with it, and then why I believe that it will not. I don't want to say have to stop, because I mean there's things that we think that are gonna stop, and maybe they continue. But I think it sheds light. Like there was one particular father in the video. He went to a concert, and R. Kelly picked his daughter out of the stage, out of the crowd. Right? He's thinking, you know what? I'm at the concert.
Yeah,
my daughter has a chance to go on stage.
What can
R. Kelly,
happen?
what
Yeah,
could happen?
yeah.
Right? So he allowed it.
Yeah.
I think in this situation now, any father goes to any concert is not going to allow this to
Wouldn't
happen
even let
because
the
they
daughters go to
know
the concert. Yeah.
of
Okay.
what he's capable of and seeing what he could do. You know what I mean? The side stuff that he does, or he might get his security to go and get a number or
Yeah,
whatever. Maybe that stuff is going to be harder to control because obviously it's other people doing his dirty work or whatever. But I think to the masses, the stuff that he used to get away with it, I don't think he'll be able to get away with it anymore. Not that everybody knows. Like even to see him maybe in a mall with a young girl, maybe before a lot of people would have walked by and it wouldn't have been an issue because they're like, maybe that's his niece, maybe whatever. Whereas now I feel like maybe somebody might approach him and be like, yo, what up? You know what I mean? So I think it's a little different now.
And to say on what you said, you're absolutely right that nothing's gonna change mentally, as in like what they went through. Like you can't fix that, but those survivors, a couple of them, especially Lisa Allen, has even talked about it, where she said like, "Yo, I came out 10 years ago, nobody believed me, so like, at least I can see that people are believing me now, and like, it gives hope." So that's why I can say that, yeah, it can help. It might not help
I don't know.
to like completely absolve them of life.
It won't.
But at the same time, if they are saying out of their mouth that it's helping, then I'm gonna go with them over my opinion. Like they're the
well,
ones
that's
that went
just
through it.
one Anyways,
But that's one person that went through it though.
I just feel like R. Kelly needs help. And like when you were saying, when Jesse said, Oh, sorry.
That's
when
fine.
Superfly Forte.
Do we gotta play the intro again?
but when you said like what now,
Yeah.
what can be done, I feel like he just needs help, like really and truly. Because at the end of the day, if R. Kelly was molested as a child, that's
years
where it
old, by the way.
starts with.
don't know
They
if you knew
said
that.
his other brother came out and said that
That's his sister.
it was his sister. All of that is crazy, and I really genuinely feel like he really doesn't even know any better.
Do you think he can be fixed?
I don't think he can be fixed. I
At this
feel like
point-
it's
at this
something
point, I
that
don't
can
think
be
Yeah.
like what you're trying to say about it being controlled.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, this will help. I feel like
He'll find a way.
you
like,
need
yeah.
to. It's like, okay, great. We're bringing awareness to everybody on the outside, but bringing awareness to the person that it starts with, like, that's what I feel.
But,
needs to
I
happen
mean,
in
we're,
some
we're
type of
talking
way.
about something being wrong with R. Kelly, but in the same breath, he preyed on women who weren't mentally stable or
Okay.
Yeah.
were.
So let me ask you a question with that.
You understand what I mean?
Let me ask you a question with that. Do you guys actually think that his preference is younger women, or do you think that his mindset is that because they're younger, they're not mentally stable to
kind of control him.
right?
Well,
So
no,
I
I
think-
think,
I think
his
he also
preference is
took-
younger
he
girls.
also took a few
Older
women,
but once
they
again,
weren't.
They're in like
Yeah.
one lady who was with him. She's like her husband used to cheat on her. So when she got with R. Kelly and R. Kelly was upfront about being with other women, she accepted it because
Yeah.
her ex-husband lied to her. He's not lying to her, so it's okay. You know what I mean? So these are women who are not mentally. I think
broken.
They're broken,
Yeah.
right? And I think that's what he preyed on in general,
Right.
But
I do
once
agree
again,
there.
I think that now with this whole situation out there, some of these women are gonna, even if they run into R. Kelly, may understand, like, you know what, I need to keep my distance away from this guy. It might be R. Kelly and he might want my phone number, but you know
But
what I mean?
like I said,
there might be still cash
because
cows
there's
who are
gonna
trying
be
to get a
exactly
paycheck.
if
Yeah, of
somebody
course.
is offering you all these things, because I feel like a lot of these women didn't go into the R. Kelly thing being like, I want to sleep with R. Kelly because he's R. Kelly. It was more like, he said he's gonna help me with my career. He said whatever, and then you want something else
I think
so
that was
bad.
more so for the younger ones though.
That's what you're talking about, I think.
Yeah, that is what I'm talking about.
Oh,
but
for the
just
younger ones,
women
yeah.
in general, because at the end
I
of the
was gonna
day,
say,
if
that's not even
I
an R. Kelly thing. That's
yeah,
an industry thing.
exactly.
Well, I was gonna get onto that too,
You could
because
be at
it's
work
crazy.
right now,
Yeah.
and if your boss tells you do X, Y, Z, and you're like, shit, I gotta pay my rent, I gotta pay my
Yeah.
car note, whatever, I gotta do whatever it is this person says because this is what I need to survive.
Yeah.
So imagine it being like your dream.
Yeah.
So to me, that's not an age thing per se. That's a what do you want
Yeah.
thing.
What am I
And
willing to do for it?
exactly. And that's why I'm like, at the like, yes, fill everybody with as much information so they can be careful. But what I'm saying is he needs help. Like,
Absolutely.
you can tell everybody all day, oh, going back to the whole thing, like, be careful, lock your doors at night, whatever, because get an alarm system. But if somebody breaks into houses and they don't get, I don't know, like rehabilitation for whatever it is,
Yeah.
then they're going to continue to break into houses. So he needs therapy. Like, he needs a better support system, which I'm not saying that this is going to happen. I'm
Yeah,
just
no.
saying like what I
The things
feel.
that- yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, to kind of add to what you're saying, I think it on the general scope of everything, everybody in the situation ideally needs help because
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, if we weren't to bring awareness to this and let's just say we leave it the way it is and fix him, guess what? If he wasn't doing it, somebody else is gonna do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
I
that's
think that's part of it. That it doesn't stop with him,
no,
No,
it doesn't
for
stop
sure.
with him. It
He's
doesn't
not
stop
the
with
only
him. It doesn't,
person.
it doesn't
Yeah.
stop with,
and it doesn't start with him either.
it,
Well, as we talked about. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's one of those heavy topics, right? Where there's a lot of, like you said, people who are abused when they're younger, and when they came out, no one paid attention to them. There's a lot of people who have mental health issues. There's so many compounded issues that basically ideally could lead one to even end up in this situation,
Fact.
right? But it's I think you have to start somewhere, right?
I
So
just
whether it
don't
be
know,
But
like,
do you
what
start
was
with
the
him?
motive?
Sorry, do you start with him or do you start with the females? As far
I think
as
I
like,
think you just kind of hammer it down with both, man.
So here's my thing with that. I think that it's the same as a racial issue, where when us as black people complain about we need to be on an equal ground. Us black people need to stick together, but we also need a bunch of white people to come up on board. I feel the same. Like a bunch of women need to stick together, and a lot of us men need to come on board because we're kind of raised to think differently. You know what I mean?
No, we're not kind of. We are.
Like, you know what I mean?
What are we talking about?
Well, with everything, like at some point in time, there's been a guy that's told you, "Well, look how she's dressed," or like little comments to say like, well, maybe not that she deserved it, but like, yo, don't dress like that, or you're asking like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
okay.
Or even when you're at work and you see an older guy looking at a girl and he makes a comment, like at the end of the day,
Correcting it.
yeah, like, and you're gonna laugh it off. But when you really think about it, like, yo, if you were in a room with that girl, were you just saying that to be cool, or were you saying that because you would really do that? Like, you know what I mean?
Or are you saying that because you have really done it?
Or even that, right? So it's kind of like it's our whole mentality that needs to change. So
And
I don't know where you start.
That's kind of why I felt why I didn't care to finish it, because I felt like it was more like salacious than it was like, oh my gosh, let's fix this problem. Because to hear things like, oh, R. Kelly's streaming went up and all of that stuff, and R. Kelly had birthday party, and R. Kelly's booking dates, to me it's like, yo, you guys don't really care about fixing the problem. It's just something to talk about right now, and oh my God, R. Kelly did this. But what, like you're saying, like what's really being put in place?
You know what I think positive can come out of this? I don't think anything positive come out of R. Kelly, like himself. No. What I think can come positive out of this is the people that watch this educate their kids.
For sure.
Talk to their kids about stuff
100%.
like this, so they're not in that type of situation.
There's a lot of things when I was watching I think I got to part 4, when I watched it with my fiance, and there was so many little tidbits that I was like, that's why I don't want Savannah doing this, or this is why blah, blah, blah. Yeah, and it's like kind of a red light was going off for him, or light bulb, whatever, going off for him, where he's like, okay, because it did teach him something.
To kind of add to her point, like I watched, I think it was Jada Pinkett Smith.
Yeah,
she said she watched it with Willow.
Yeah.
To kind of same type of scenario. You know what I mean? It's all about education.
Here's my thing though. So I'm gonna give you 2 stories. Okay. There's one mom where the daughter's old enough not to do R. Kelly.
What are we talking about? The actual the docu-series?
Right. I'm talking about 2 stories in the docu-series.
Yeah. Okay.
She's old enough to, like, you know, go to her friend's house unattended and all that stuff. So she's telling her mom she's going to her friend's house. It just so happens that the friend calls the mom and says, hey, just so you know, this is really what's happening. And then that mom starts taking action, supposedly. Right? That scenario, I look at it and I'm like, okay, even though I could possibly do better, I think that that's a scenario that could possibly happen to anybody.
of us. I don't think so.
Anybody.
I don't agree with that. Because I think as a parent, you can be more attentive to that. If they say I'm going to my friend's house, we've all done that already. Yeah. We've all said I'm going to my friend's house and I went somewhere else.
Right. Yeah.
We've gone through it, so you know this is what kids do.
Right.
So you got to put in that extra work, that extra step to make sure when they say they're somewhere, they're actually where they say they're going to be.
I agree with you, but that's why I said I can, but I still think that that's...
you give them the benefit of the doubt.
Right. Like that's a innocent mistake.
But in the world we live in, though, you can't make that mistake.
But I'm not saying that I would, because I'm like Sierra, or I assume I'm like Sierra, where like I'm really finicky about a lot of things, so I'll look at certain things differently. Absolutely. And even like how you said your fiance, my girl's the same. Like she'll kind of be the one that's like, oh, like nah. You gotta know because of this or that, and that's for anything. But anyways. There's another one where you brought up the guy that let his daughter go on stage. Okay.
Yeah.
We were talking about strikes earlier. That's one strike. But I'll be like, okay, whatever. What you don't know is she went on stage.
How old was she, sorry?
I don't remember.
I think she was 17.
She's underage.
You think my daughter's this is not no.
But this is
we're not
talking, like when we're 12.
We're not talking about us, because I don't think that I would ever be in that position.
Yeah.
So we're not
like
talking
that
about
type
us.
of stuff.
Which is why I'm telling this story. Because that, when you told it earlier, it was like, that's not really. So anyway, so that happens. She not only goes on stage with them, she goes backstage. They disappear, which that part he can't control because you let her go on stage. And now it's all, you can't get to her. So that happens. And then they're waiting backstage. They take longer than the concert, and they're like, yo, what's going on? Then finally she comes out and she's like, oh, like Sierra said earlier, oh, R. Kelly said like he really likes how I sing. You know, he really wants me to sing, blah, blah.
So they buy it.
So they buy into it.
Okay.
So then they go back and now they're texting as an R. Kelly and her.
Girl, yeah.
Right? Why are you not texting my parents? You got to texting who?
Yeah.
Right? Why are you texting a grown man? If he's really interested in you, where's his agent? Where's the label?
Exactly.
Where's the meeting? Sit down. None of these check marks are happening. Then,
But I don't think they knew at that part. I don't think they knew yet.
hold on.
Yeah.
Then, eventually now, they find out that she's going to R. Kelly's house. Okay? They try and put a stop to it and they're like, yo, this can't go on. I believe, you guys can tell me if I'm wrong, they go and pick her up.
So so I'm gonna just jump in there real quick. So what happened was they were trying to get in contact with her. They couldn't get in contact with her. So then they went to look for her, and then they found out there's a possibility that she might be
At his house.
at a hotel that they're staying at.
Okay.
So they
There
go
you
to
go.
the
That's right.
hotel, and when they get there, they basically say, "Our daughter's here. She should be with R. Kelly's people." The people at the hotel are like, "What are you talking about?
R.
We don't
Kelly's
have-
not here."
He's
Yeah.
not here." They're like, his tour bus is outside. We know he's here.
Yeah.
They obviously have to say that for probably
Yeah.
disclosure
Yeah.
purposes.
Yeah.
And then they get pissed off and they just start knocking on random doors.
Okay.
To try and find
Find
her.
her. Yeah.
So
The
because they're
hotel
causing
says-
a stir up,
They say, yo, you can't do that. And we understand maybe there might be an issue, so we'll call his security down. And at that point is when
so his security comes down
Yeah.
and she comes down.
With them.
They obviously take the daughter.
Yeah.
And they take her home. She's like, yo, I was singing for him, blah, blah, like you're ruining my career, blah, blah. They, again, like we said, everybody's known about all these rumors, blah, blah. They decide, because they're in that position now. She's literally saying like, yo, I hate you guys. Like, this can ruin my life. This was my
I think
chance,
she even
blah,
threatened
blah.
to like run away and shit like
I'll
that.
run away, blah, blah. So they're in that position now. What do? They decide they're going to let R. Kelly mentor her, but somebody has to be there. Either the mom or the dad. Okay?
Well, no, before that,
Hold on.
Before that, he says he's going on tour. He can mentor her, but he's going on tour, and she has to commit. And the explanation he gave was
No,
he would
that's
let
after.
somebody from the label.
No, that's after. You see, you're going too far.
No, it was the
No,
label
you're
first.
going, you're going too far.
Okay,
Because
go
what
ahead.
happened is that they then send the sister.
Oh my god.
After a while, they were going, and then they sent the sister because they couldn't make that one or whatever.
Yeah.
So they send the sister, and they move to wherever it was.
Chicago.
I think it was Chicago or
Yeah,
Atlanta.
they were in
Those
Atlanta.
two.
Now they're in Chicago. No,
Right?
they started in Miami, Florida.
Okay.
And then they moved the sister to
So they
Chicago.
move, and at one point, she's like, the sister's like, "Oh, R. Kelly is telling me like he needs to know what we're doing right now." Like, what do you mean? Like, what are we doing like tonight? Or like, what are you talking about? No, like literally what we're doing. Or if she was about to eat, or R. Kelly says like, "Yo, he needs to know what I'm eating, or I need to know." So it's just like, "Yo, what are you talking about? Like, I'm grown. Like, I'm not telling no grown man what I'm eating." Blah blah blah. She doesn't tell her parents that. So then she's like, "Oh, R. Kelly's gonna come get us." Blah blah. So she's like, "No, he's not. Like, you're not going nowhere with R. Kelly." The sister falls asleep. The
Yeah,
sister
when she wakes up.
sees R. Kelly. So now the sister goes to the house where R. Kelly, or to the studio, sorry, because she's been
Yeah.
there. And pretty much, long story short, security runs her out, threatens her, so she
Basically,
can't,
kidnap her, drive her somewhere, and drop her off.
yeah, so that she can't tell nobody, or they'll harm her sister.
So
She doesn't tell her family.
So she reaches out to the parents to say there might be something wrong, but doesn't tell the story because
Right.
she doesn't want nothing to happen to her sister.
Right. And then that is when R. Kelly says, "You know what? To make you feel better, I'll have one of my
People from the label.
people from the label look after her, make sure she's doing her homework, blah, blah." Now, to me, if I have
There was a lot of wrong things in that whole.
all those
This
red
story is
flags,
so ridiculous.
there's no way that I can possibly say, "Okay, Norman from the label, good job, take care of my daughter." Like, I don't care what
That
it is.
is
'Cause to be
one that
honest-
is like, obviously we already know R. Kelly's fucked, but these parents are stupid.
That's the thing.
Because this is
That's
like
all I
so
look at, yeah.
far. Like I don't
That's
give a
what I'm
fuck if you
saying.
hate me. You can hate me for
That's
the
what
rest
I'm
of your
saying.
fucking life as long as I know that you're safe.
Exactly.
I'm not
Like
gonna be your friend.
exactly. So like that type of stuff is ridiculous. Because
But this is why I say a lot of parents in that they made a lot of bad decisions. Like they were really gullible in a lot of things that were being
But also not to defend them. You have to look at the demographics and the situations.
they
and
thought
yeah,
it was a
like I
cash grab.
definitely agree, but I don't know.
And I'm not just
That's
saying like,
just-
oh, because they're black. Like, no, they're black, yes, but it was a poor area. Like, you got to look at everything and put it together. Like, if this
It's just
mom
a
is
different
working
time.
2 jobs,
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
It's not like that as
Right.
much anymore because that's what I was about to say. It's a different time. There was a lot more freedom, even from like the freedom that my dad had. My grandparents worked 24/7,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
my dad and my uncles, they were always home by themselves. It was different than with me. Like, okay, well, I grew up with my grandparents, so my grandparents were home more or whatever, but like some of my best friends' moms were nurses, so it was like, okay, we might not chill at my house because my grandma's home, but we're over here by your house. It's different than how it will be for my child because I know it's just different. Like I work a 9-to-5 job to make sure that I am home with Savannah every day. There's a lot more entrepreneurship where you can make your own hours, so you're around your kids more
yeah, for
often.
sure.
And things of that nature. And then now it's just like a different type of switch because we didn't have social media, right? But we had a lot more freedom because our parents were never home.
Yep.
Whereas now our parents might be home in the home more, but these kids have the internet and things of that nature. So it's like, really, it's you watch your kids.
That's it.
Like
That's- to
be
really
honest,
and
to be
truly
honest.
watch
Yeah,
your
you can be
kids.
involved in
You know what? You know
every
what though?
part.
You have to be.
You say
you can be.
that, but you just like literally you gotta be on the inside a paranoid parent.
No,
On
Yeah,
the outside,
for
you
sure.
could be
Yeah.
calm, cool, collective.
No,
but- because
on
even,
inside,
like-
outside, over the top. I
No,
don't
because
care.
even,
'cause-
no, but I even seen like one of those. What would you do? And it's where you see the parents like they're there at the park and they're telling them like, "Yo, you should never go to a stranger with this and da 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 da." Like no matter what, and they even say like kids because they don't have that mental capacity. Like it takes you like 4 times to convince them,
Yeah.
right? So they showed that. They showed how. He's like, okay, watch. I'm gonna go to your kid, and they're gonna come with me.
Yeah.
Right? And then they went and tested it out, and like 9 out of 10 of the kids went because no matter how much you're teaching them and blah blah blah, and like it's still something that like
Yeah.
you like the most perfect. It can happen to any one of us. So we gotta like really instill certain things in them and really like not just instill it, but watch them. Look how they do certain things. Look how they adhere to what you're saying. Or, you know what I mean?
For sure.
Is it like no, like what you're saying is really getting to know your child?
Facts.
Because again, talking about like generationally, I grew up with my grandparents, so my grandma didn't give a fuck what I was into, what I was doing.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
she didn't really care. It was like this is what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She never cared to be like, let me
Not
get
your
to
friend.
know Sierra. Let me get to know
I'm not
her
your
characteristics, what she would do, what she wouldn't do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Whereas with my dad, or like my dad will say, yo, if Sierra, like he knows me, you know, like that is something he'll always say. Like there's certain things that I know for a fact. If I heard it about Sierra, I would know like, yeah, she did that, or no, she didn't, because I know her. Same with Savannah. There's certain things where it's like I know my child would do that, and I take the time, the extra time to get to know
have to.
her and get to know her personality. And there's things that I know like. I don't have to worry about Savannah being a follower. She's not gonna necessarily like Savannah's not gonna just jump in the car because oh shit, I don't want to be cool, or like I want to be cool, whatever.
right.
But she might get in the car because she wants to make sure that her friend got to where she's supposed to be.
Yeah.
She's overprotective. I know those things about my child, and I have to think. O'Neill tells me that I'm negative all the time, but I'm like, it's not that I'm negative, but I want to think about all the different possibilities
As a parent,
so that
you
I
have
can
to
cross
think
my
about
T's and dot my
I
I's.
said, you have to be a paranoid parent.
Yeah.
I don't care what anybody says. My bad beans. I disagree wholeheartedly. On this one at least, I'm with Sierra.
That's
and I mean
idiot.
to even say like some of the things that you guys are touching on. I do remember too in the docuseries that R. Kelly's wife, there was the one who was,
Andrea.
yeah, like I think for her, a lot of what she was trying to get out there is like we see these people through like TV glasses and you know on TV, and at the end of the day, she's like, listen, like I know that you guys love R. Kelly the artist, but Robert the man
is the devil.
He's the devil.
Person. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think putting that stuff out there, like, yo, these people, they put on a persona for you. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And you never really know these people. So I mean, with what you guys are saying, I mean, yeah, as parents, you never really know what people are capable of and stuff like that. So you just have to be aware of pretty much everything.
Yeah, man.
Everything.
Yeah, man. I'm all for it, man.
Everything.
I'm all for it. I don't care what you say.
And even to that extent too. You remember the artist Sparkle?
Yeah.
Sparkle. Her niece was one of the 14-year-old in the video.
I heard
But
about
then-
that.
And for her, that happened because Sparkle introduced her family
Yeah,
to
to
R.
R.
Kelly.
Kelly, yeah.
Hold
You
on
know
a
what I mean?
second, though.
So you need to be careful of the people that you're bringing
Oh,
around.
you need to be, and that's the thing. Again,
Mm-hmm.
I have a daughter.
Yeah.
I'm super, super paranoid. Very. And I don't care who you are. I tell Savannah all the time. I talk to her about everything. I'll be like, listen, you're not to be sitting on any man's lap. You're not to be, I let Savannah know, you know, when you're like, oh, I don't like people who force themselves onto children.
Yeah.
If I see somebody's daughter, like when I came here the other day and I asked, may I give you a hug? You know, and I let my daughter know, if you don't want to,
Don't do it.
don't do it. I will never force her.
Force it. Yeah,
like
of course,
there's
of
a difference
course.
between you say hello and, you know, be respectful.
Yeah, respectful.
And like your personal space. I let her know what's right and what's wrong. And I ask her, I don't care who you are. Like you need to, because a lot of time, like R. Kelly is one instance, but if we're just talking about molestation
General,
as a
yeah.
whole, a lot of that stems from people who are closest to you.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
you have to talk to your children to say, you ask them questions like, did so-and-so, how do you feel about this person? You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter who it is.
Yep.
You have to talk to your kids.
And with you saying that too, you gotta remember that talking is not the only form of communication. So sometimes you can look at your child,
Yeah,
and even though
and-
they didn't tell you, they told you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
yeah.
sure.
You
You
gotta
can't
try and pick
ignore
up those
those
signs,
things.
for
Yeah.
sure.
And,
100%.
Yeah.
and also to what you touched on, that goes back to what you said, Sierra, before, which you kind of missed, I believe anyway, is when you bring up Sparkle, she should have never, I personally hold, I don't want to say I hold her accountable, but I think she failed because she was R. Kelly's
Protege
artist.
type of.
She's older. So she went to R. Kelly's house one day. Her home, like, their homeboys are chilling. She's at the house chilling too. And she keeps hearing this knock, right? Knock, 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 knock. And she says it's going on for long. Finally, R. Kelly's like, yeah, what's up? And she says his wife opens the creek, like a little creek where you could just see her eyes.
Yeah.
And she's like, can I come down and get food, please? And she said, it was weird to me, but like, whatever, that's your situation.
Yeah.
To me, that's kind of the problem that we're saying. To me, that's your situation. It shouldn't be.
Yeah. It should be
there-
like, what are you doing? Why
yeah,
should
like-
I ask you to eat?
And then furthermore, you should look at that and be like, okay, if he's treating his wife like that, I can't put anybody for me around him. I don't care what the talent is, blah blah blah.
I mean,
I can't put.
I kind
anyone-
of see where you're going with the story, but I mean, who's to say for Sparkle it didn't happen to her? So she's like, you know what I mean? Like,
What didn't happen to her? She said it. She said it didn't happen to her. What are we talking about?
No, what I'm saying is you're saying that looking at basically the relationship between R. Kelly and his wife, she should have picked up on certain signs, right?
I'm okay.
But by the time that story happened, she had already introduced her niece to R. Kelly.
But
Just
yeah.
timeline-wise.
But what I'm saying is for
By the
Sparkle,
time what happened?
The incident with his wife,
Yep.
Sparkle was already done his protege, and she already introduced her niece to R.
Are
Kelly.
you sure?
100%. And
Okay.
her brother,
Well, then that's different. then.
yeah, and her brother worked with R. Kelly.
Yeah, I know that.
but
part.
So the
like,
relationship
I think
was already there.
Even if I think for, I know you're saying it's part of the problem, but I think for Sparkle, I don't think at no point was she ever put or treated as one of those girls. So she would have. I don't think she would have ever really thought in her head that either her or someone in her surrounding would have been You know what I
For
mean?
me, you just have to trust your gut because she said when I saw my niece at the studio without me, I thought it was weird. From you thought it was weird.
There's a problem.
Okay, if I saw my niece or my little cousin somewhere they aren't supposed to be, I'm not gonna just think it's weird and keep it pushing. I'm going to be like, listen, you're not to be over here. Let's go.
But that's what I mean.
You know, whatever.
Everybody said that. Like
saw
everybody
something.
said that in the docuseries.
Everybody
and I'm
said that
looking at
they
it
saw
like,
something and they thought it
how
was
can
weird.
it,
But
how can it be weird? But
You're
you went
still-
on with your day.
Yeah, and that's the thing where it's like everybody can say that shit now and that's bringing it back full circle to Chance the Rapper
hindsight, yeah.
because it's like at the end of the day, it's convenience. He was servicing you. You were getting something out of him. So there's things that you allowed because it worked for you at the time. Yeah. But now that everything's coming out and everybody knows you were around him and this and the third, you have to now speak your piece to be like, oh yeah, you can't sit here and be like, you know, the only person in that whole docuseries who to me made it seem like it was nothing was his brother. His brother when he just has a preference for young girls. I like older girls.
You're trying
Clearly
to say like
brother,
he was the only one that was true to himself, even though he's messed
exactly.
up too. I got
Everybody else was now trying to cover their ass. That's how I feel that way.
But when you
that's what I
say
think.
that, I feel like you're right. But I feel like everybody that did that, you didn't have to. Like, why'd you?
They
do
didn't
that?
have to, but I feel like
Why
felt
did they do what?
they
Why
had
try to cover their ass?
Yeah, like nobody knew about you. So I mean, like,
But I
the
feel like-
manager, okay, maybe. But other people, like the coach.
Well, everybody knew about Sparkle. I think
Sparkle's
but then
fine
again,
too, but like the coach, like, why are you talking? To me, like, I'm sorry. Like, to me, he's one of the worst people in there. As in, like...
There's that guy, and then there's the guy who didn't want to show his ID. Like, he used to work for R. Kelly as a... Well, he was part of his entourage.
Former employee or whatever.
Yeah, former employee. Like, he spoke about a lot... Like, that, he knew everything. Details, dates, everything.
the light skin guy.
No,
you
they
don't
never
see
showed
it.
his ID.
He's
Oh yeah,
blurred
okay,
out,
yeah,
blurred out.
yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Why would
So,
you even be on a docuseries if you're blurred out?
Why not? Because they want
Maybe he's still in the
Well,
camp.
actually, they said they didn't get paid, so maybe not.
Maybe he's still in the camp though. We don't know.
That too.
Yeah,
yeah,
like,
who-
or
Former,
somebody
though.
is around.
He said former.
Oh,
I mean, but they
but
could
maybe
put up
some
any
type of
title. Yeah, they could put up
affiliation
any
still.
title, yeah.
I don't know, but I still just believe that it
A
was
lot of
more
people had
so
to change their tune. They had to.
exactly because at the end of the day, for instance, like we kind of touched on Jay-Z and other celebrities that
Yeah.
decided not to speak on it. Where it's like maybe they decided to say nothing because it's like a lose-lose situation for them. So it's like if I change my tune, you guys are just gonna bring. Because look, Jay-Z said nothing, and everybody's talking about
Beyonce not
Jay-Z,
there.
which is not real. That's
Which one?
They're saying how Jay-Z and Beyonce were dating when Beyonce was 16, which is
But
that's not even facts.
they've been saying that for years, right?
But that's literally not
now
facts.
but now they're
just
just
do simple
comparing it to R.
research.
Kelly, though.
Yeah, and then they're
of
saying
course, that's
exactly
what's
and
gonna
like the
happen.
Foxy Brown thing, and that was what I was trying to get at earlier, where it's like at the end of the day,
Was
there's
it-
a lot of guys
Wasn't
who.
it Foxy who put out that statement, though? Or was it just a random...
No. It's a known fact that Foxy and
Foxy was
Jay-Z,
underage.
yeah, and
Okay. All
they
right.
were sleeping together when she was underage.
Okay.
But it was also known
I
that
only know
Foxy
that
used to
from
lie about her age a lot, right?
yeah.
So she used to lie about her. Back then, she would lie and say that she was older than she really was.
Mm-hmm.
So then it's Jay-Z has never said anything about it. He never said, "Oh, Foxy told me she was 19, but she was really 16." He just didn't address
They
it.
said the same about Beyonce, except the other way around.
But
That she
Beyonce,
would-
like,
she would lie
that's
about
like-
being younger because that was the image
She wanted to...
that you portrayed at that time.
But
or
it's just
something
like
that.
do your simple Googles because when Bills came out, Bills, not even no,
yeah, I
whatever.
got you. Destiny's Child.
She was 16 years old when that song came out, right? Beyonce and Jay-Z didn't even know each other. They met each other when she was 19 years old. So right there,
But
it's
how do
like
you know that though?
okay, whatever.
I mean,
How do you know that,
That's what they
though?
say. That's what
Okay,
they say.
that's what they say. But
You
Either
can't-
which
you
way-
can't say like for sure. It's
Yeah, we...
You know what I mean?
we
either which
I hear
way,
you, but-
we know.
either which way. I'm not trying to say that anything is, and I'm not even trying to. I don't even want to say it because everybody knows how much I love Beyonce and Jay-Z.
not about that,
But
but
I
go
just
on.
feel like there's a lot of people who sleep with people that they should not be sleeping with for many different reasons.
Oh, yeah,
And
100%. I
if-
agree with you.
But to bring up other celebrities, and this is so stupid to me because it's like, okay, Jay-Z slept, let's just say Jay-Z slept with Beyonce when she was 16, or Jay-Z slept with Foxy Brown, but Foxy Brown lied about her age. What does it have to do with this man holding people hostage over and over and over again and going to high schools to go pre-gal? It's not the same. Or a high school. It's not the same. Why are we talking about this?
I don't think it's the same.
Yeah.
But I
know it's not the same, but people are
I
saying
think
that.
What they're doing is putting it out there that it I don't want to say in the industry it happens, but this is something that's been going on.
I don't even think.
Basically.
I don't even. Think
But
it's
I don't think that's what people are trying to say.
Because they do that with anything. You could look at anything. They
No,
always,
yeah.
whenever
R.
there's somebody, they always try to compare it to
Somebody else.
Always.
Yeah, that's what I think.
That's what
Not what, but where we are right
Yeah.
now. Like that's how it is. But at the same time, I think that no matter how you put it, it's either it's wrong or it's right. I'm not saying it's the same because it's not. I think what you're trying to say is what you would assume, because we don't know, but is that these things happen where, like, for example, the Foxy Brown thing. Yeah, Jay should have done his due diligence. If he did do that, he should, like, can I see your license, please, blah, blah, blah. But if he didn't, that's something that happened, okay. If Beyonce was younger, then it's wrong. But at the same time, we don't know that. And what you're saying is that from what you know, the Google information or whatever, they were of age. Okay. But this guy is purposely going out to do these acts.
Exactly.
Purposely being a predator.
Yeah,
Right?
for sure.
So I'm just saying dating underage girls is not right no matter what. But obviously what Kelly's doing is much worse.
Yeah.
And actually from watching the docuseries, did you realize that whole Stockholm syndrome?
No.
There's an actual name for the
Yeah. How the victim becomes the perpetrator?
Yeah.
pretty much.
Yeah.
So it's
Which
personally, I think that's an excuse though.
yeah, like
nah, it's not an excuse.
Because that's like saying like, if my father was a murderer and I murder somebody, it's because I saw my father murder somebody. Like, that's a personal trauma. People go through trauma all the time, but it doesn't make you that person.
It's not an excuse, but I don't want to say you could change, but like for example, there's certain things that you do right now that you might not know you do, but you do it because your mother or your dad do it.
100%.
Or did it.
So it's not that easy to say like, oh, it's just an excuse. It's not. Like, it's literally embedded in you.
Yeah.
It's learned
But,
behavior.
right.
You don't know any
But
better.
it's just
And
how do you change? Which is why your point is valid, but invalid until he does it, that he needs help. But no one can get him help until he makes himself get help, right?
Well,
But
I
he
heard
needs
that he
help.
called Iyanla
It's not real,
or
man.
whatever.
Yeah.
I heard that he called. I don't think she's the right person because that's going to be an hour of the same shit. Everybody just wants to, whatever. She, at the end of the day, her job is to make herself get ratings. So I don't think that's the best route for him. But I don't think he thought for all these years, I don't think he thought like he was doing something wrong.
That part.
I think he thought that. Okay, this is what I mean. I feel like the capacity of R. Kelly's brain is not in the sense of like a serial murderer where it's like, oh, I don't think it's like that. I really feel like he is literally chemically imbalanced and he doesn't understand.
So what she's saying, I feel like his wife was touching on that because his wife basically put it out there like he was literate.
Yeah.
She's like, the way he grew up, no one really cared about him.
Yeah.
She's like, how does a child grow up and not know the street that they live on? Like, she's talking about stuff, but she's like, at the same time, I don't want to say that gives him an excuse to be the way he is. But for someone who grew up the way he did, he grew up messed up.
Yeah.
He again,
You know what I mean?
agreed. And when you bring up Stockholm, that's a real thing. Blah blah blah. But then when you touch on excuse and when you touch on his chemical imbalance, I agree with the chemical imbalance part. But I do think he knows what he's doing. And the reason is because you throw out certain things like like Pied Piper and all these things. Like
he's using, but I feel like that's also because let's just take away. Let's say R. Kelly wasn't R. Kelly like musically.
Yeah.
Do you think he wouldn't have been sleeping with little girls? he still would have been
Yeah,
sleeping
yeah,
with.
you just wouldn't know about it. 'Cause
Exactly.
he's a normal person.
So
right?
that's there's a difference there where
Right.
it was two things combined, and that's why it's gone to this magnitude.
No, I agree.
Because if R. Kelly was not R. Kelly, he probably would have went to jail.
Definitely.
He probably would have went to jail a lot sooner. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
because we don't
I
know,
think because
his
who he
resources
is,
would have been
yeah.
different. Maybe it he wouldn't have the resources to do all that he wanted to do. So it could have been something like now he's raping little girls.
Because
you know what I mean?
Even when the one girl who I think she got herpes from him,
Right.
Yeah.
she's
Mono.
basically suing
Mono.
him or whatever it was. She got an STD from him, whatever what it was. But she's basically suing him, and it's like that's tied up in court.
Yeah.
And I mean, he knew he had that when he slept with her. Like for anybody else, that's a clear cut. Like you put somebody else.
But then you
life-
also got to look at too, and I'm jumping a little bit, but you also got to look at too, like as much as we can say the demographics and some of those parents, I'm sure we're all for it. Like, yeah,
Whoa,
go ahead.
wait, what?
What do you mean by that?
Okay, so again, you don't know this, but one of the parents, and you said mono, is that the one that like pretty much got paralyzed for a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, not
Oh,
that one. So
okay,
what I was
well, that's
talking
what I
about
was
was
talking about.
later in the show.
Okay.
Oh,
so
okay, sorry.
I know that there's one that caught an STD, and
She's an older lady though.
And no, that one was a younger because the mom signed the NDA for $100.
Yeah, that was the girl who had the
So
mono.
to me,
And
that's
she
Okay,
literally
no.
was
So
scared.
I'm talking about a
that's
different
why
girl.
that's why I
I'm
thought.
talking about a different girl.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But that's why I'm saying like some of these, like even when you watch some of these movies where like it's not the same, but like how a woman might get slapped by her husband, she's like, so he has money, like it's fine, let him do that. Or like you'll watch a movie where
Yeah.
they'll groom the girl for their boyfriend. Like what?
Actually,
They'll put them
and-
in the bathtub and
So some of the
like,
things that you're saying, I remember too. Once the whole story broke and people were talking about it, whatever. This one guy who didn't watch it, he was like, "Okay, so like I don't get it." So R. Kelly had these girls chained up. He had, and I'm like, "Nah." And he's like, "What do you mean?" And I'm like, "Didn't." I'm like, "What?" Basically, some of them when they got to that point that they were done with him, they opened the door and they walked out. And he's like, "I don't get it."
yeah,
he's like,
that-
"So
I didn't
that's
get that part
mental.
either. Though.
no, I understand it, but I'm saying he didn't watch it. So for in his head, when he hears they were held captive or they were kidnapped,
yeah.
he's thinking that they were tied up
yeah.
or they were chained by the ankle or something to that extent, right? But I'm like, nah, bro. I'm like, all this was a mental thing that he did to basically, I guess you could
Keep
say,
them there,
yeah, incapacitate these girls and
I
keep them.
And like he said, he's thinking about it like any old female that he might know or whatever. But he's not thinking, like we touched on, R. Kelly was very strategic with who
Yeah,
it was that he was.
100%.
R. Kelly is R. Kelly. And he could
100%.
sleep with pretty much any woman he wants
But
to.
he chose her
Most of the women going to his concerts are grown ass women.
Yeah,
but he chose to go to the mall when he was not performing to go find younger women who he can mold or pick up the one female of age who had all these other issues. Like he wasn't preying on just or
Regular.
trying to sleep with just regular whatever. He was preying on people who he knew.
yeah.
But
When-
my thing with that was not about the girls. It was about R. Kelly. Like I didn't understand if he was so strategic, how they could leave like that. That's my
No,
That's
but
how I look
but
at it. That didn't make
for
sense.
me, when I watch it, I feel like that was part of the whole process. Because even there's one of those older women who were like, you know, they got there, they realized how these girls were living, they realized there was more girls than them, and then they were like, okay, well, this is not that bad for me, so they stayed. But then when they got to the point where it's too much, they got all the way to the airport, and she's like, yo, I felt like I wanted to go back. You know what I mean? But I
that's-
think
But
that
that's
was
normal,
part.
though.
But that's what I'm saying. I think that was part of it. At the end of the day, he always wanted to believe that you could leave, but he knew that whatever he was doing was more damaging than that. So,
But that's
yeah,
what,
you think
that's
you
not
can
what I
leave.
mean, though. Obviously I can't put myself in that position,
Mm-hmm.
but I would think that R. Kelly would be like, "No, you're not leaving." Like like so.
But we don't know his mindset because
Oh
again, we're speculating, but that's where it brings it back to like, I don't know if he fully he knew what he was doing was wrong,
Yeah.
but when you are now, it's your world.
Yeah.
You start to make sense of your world. It's
Yeah,
like a
yeah.
liar starting to believe
yeah,
their
of
course,
lies.
of course,
So
of
I
course.
feel like it's not as if he thinks in his head like you want to stay, he wants you there. But if he feels in his head like, yo, you don't want to be here anymore, why does he want you?
Yeah,
You know what
yeah.
I mean? So
And
that's
that's
why
a
I
good
feel like,
point.
And
okay,
that's a
he
good
would let
point.
him
And I'm
go.
sure- that's a good
Yeah,
point.
yeah.
I'm sure for some of them, it was a change in lifestyle. Because remember, if I'm there and
where
I'm
they're
taking
coming
the
from.
hit
Change
here
your
and there,
lifestyle indeed.
he's flying me here, he's flying me
Yeah.
there. I get to the airport, I gotta pay for my own ticket.
Nah, but
Exactly.
like I said,
You know what I mean? It's
like
a change
said,
of lifestyle, big
Yeah,
time.
like I never questioned that part because I think they killed that part. Like even how they explained it takes a woman like or a victim, I should say, because guys can be victims too. It takes them like 9 times before they can actually leave.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. So that part I got, but until Sierra just gave that perspective, I couldn't grasp like him just letting them go because I always hear like guys, well, if it's not me, it's nobody type attitude, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, how are they just walking out of your
I don't
house
think he had to behave like
willy
that.
nilly?
I
You
don't
know,
think he had to.
I'm not saying he had to, but I was just like, this girl has all the information. How are you just letting this girl with all the information just
walk out,
You know, but that's a good point.
Man.
Yeah, there's a lot of levels, man.
Okay, so in conclusion, is he canceled?
I don't think there is.
Oh,
a
he-
conclusion.
I mean-
I mean that was
Canceled to
already done.
us? He's canceled.
I think he's
canceled to the
I
world?
think to the
You
masses,
can't,
he's canceled.
you can't.
You think he's canceled
To the
to
masses,
Okay.
he's canceled. Majority, like the majority of canceled.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say you can't.
Not
answer,
everybody.
You can't answer that question just because you're gonna see, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't know yet. It's still fresh. It's canceled to me. It's canceled to everybody here, I believe, right?
One-
The average person, I
1000%.
think,
But
would be canceled. too.
yeah,
I think
the
I think
celebrity,
so.
like R. Kelly's not as relevant as he was back then. So it's
Yeah.
like
Nah.
the celebrities don't need him to. Like,
yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
And
For
even
sure,
like
that boat's
how-
long sailed.
I don't remember who said it. Maybe it was you, Superfly. That like his music is like the older music.
Yeah.
They talk about things in there, and I'm like, yeah, like he's been putting out albums
Forever.
Yeah.
I said to
I
you,
re-
I'm a big R.
I remember-
I'm
to
a
anything
old
recent.
school
Yeah.
R. I'm an old school R&B
Yeah, I couldn't
person.
tell you what R. Kelly's like new.
He's had
or
like
newer-
4
Yeah.
or
I would
Yeah,
not
albums,
know
yeah.
that.
like enough albums, and
Yeah.
I just don't
Nobody
care to
listens-
listen
yeah.
to. it.
Yeah.
Right, and it had nothing to do with this, but now
Yeah.
it's like, okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
I'm completely off. You know.
So I mean, for me, I like my sister was a big R&B person. It wasn't too much for me or whatever, but one of the steady CDs on was 12 Play.
Nah,
Steady
you
on.
see, well,
You
it
know
is
what I
12
mean?
play, but TP2 was mine, man.
But that came along a little bit later, right?
Yeah, but that's what I mean when we're talking about my age. Like that was the age where I could say, okay,
Yeah.
like I know about all those other songs, but that wasn't like I never played that. I never went out and got that CD.
yeah.
You know what I mean? I got TP2,
Yeah.
because I was at that age to buy a CD now.
Okay, got you.
You know
Got
what I
you.
mean? So
For girls when they came over.
what are you doing right now?
Asking a question.
Well, I'm not answering.
I agree.
Actually,
So
you
I
know
mean,
what?
for the masses,
Yeah, I did. My
about a long
bad.
time.
My bad to whoever I played that for back then. My bad. You
So
know what
I mean,
but I mean, you remember that I Wish remix video? Like that was one of my favorite videos from R. Kelly. I can't even bump that no more.
no, for sure. But I mean, is it? Do you guys think it's something that people are gonna? I don't want to say follow,
I
but
don't think it's a wave. I don't think like this is gonna.
Yeah,
it's
that's what
gonna
I'm
die
saying.
out and people are gonna be listening to R. Kelly a year from. I don't think that's gonna happen.
yeah, you think?
I
it's-
think that this
think it's done.
is a great docuseries to show your children because it's gonna open those questions, and if you have the opportunity to have an open dialogue because maybe your child is of that age, then you can be open somewhat with them too. Like even how we're talking here, it'd be good to let children know, like, hey, look at this situation. Look at what this man did. Like you need to know how to make right decisions, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
And you
yeah.
need to know, just like all the old sayings, like everything that glitters isn't gold. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
got to know,
Those
like,
things are there for a reason.
Yeah. He might be able to give you money, but what does he want for it?
Yeah, what
You
comes
know
with
what I mean? Like we see, not just R. Kelly, we see so many people these days doing so many things that's like,
Yeah.
what do you doing that for? Or even when you talk about Instagram, like you'll see a girl or a guy go away 5 times a month, and other people will be like, "Oh my God, I want to do that." Do you? Do you know what they're doing for that?
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
So it's, I mean, in a one way, it's good to show your children and really have an icebreaker to open that conversation.
Yeah,
Because like this, it's an ongoing conversation. You know what I mean?
I agree.
And
Sierra?
and it also shows you how crazy that world is, whether it's athletes, musicians. I mean, I only found out the other day that Elvis Presley married a 14-year-old.
Something's
You know
been
what I mean?
happening,
Like,
man. It's something that's
been
been
going
happening.
on. So it's crazy.
It's not even industry though. I feel like Sierra said this is regular life.
Oh yeah, that
Yeah,
too.
regular
You don't
life.
you don't
Job,
remember
your
girls
boss,
getting
your
picked up by the
supervisor.
25-year-old with
Oh,
the
yeah,
car
yeah.
and like
Yeah.
And that's the thing, because I can't say.
Did you get picked up when you were in high school, Sierra?
yeah, don't do that.
Whoa.
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 Honestly,
Whoa. Yeah. Well, that
Crickets,
took a
huh?
turn.
Crickets.
I just want. Okay.
No, I just want you to answer the question.
I will answer the question. Yes, I did get picked up by an older gentleman when I was in high school, which, yeah, I did.
If you can see her
However,
face right now.
however, just so because this is on, we're gonna be playing this for people. I did not sleep with the older gentleman that picked me up from. Oh, I thought you cut me off. I definitely didn't. I didn't do that.
Okay.
But what I was going to say was,
Did he try to sleep with you?
Wow.
who didn't try to sleep with?
She said I like very like but the people around me might have, but like
I didn't say
Okay,
that.
so
I didn't say. Don't mix me.
Sierra, finish your story. Finish your story, Sierra.
But what I was gonna say was just that. I just don't think like. I don't know, because I feel like it's two different topics to talk about dating,
Yeah,
like the age difference in dating, and then
absolutely.
R. Kelly.
R. Kelly did, yeah.
So
Yeah.
It's a different topic in time.
I'm
Yeah.
saying there's similarities, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
obviously different. But
yeah, but I just feel like we touched on just the awareness,
That's
talking
the main
about
thing,
it, like
My God, what a segue. She got off that quick. You guys didn't even pick up on
what
that.
got
She
off
got
what?
off that
I answered
quick,
the
eh?
question.
Continue your story, Sarah.
I answered
told
the
you already.
question.
Finish your
Did you
story.
hear
I
her say
answered
that's
the
a topic
question.
for another day.
Oh, did you
not off
say
of
that?
it.
I
She's
missed
not-
that.
she's
I
not
missed
off of
that.
You guys can ask me whatever you'd like. I answered the question. Anyway,
Okay.
yeah, I think that it's just bringing awareness, and if it's something that you're personally do, like if you're listening to this and it's something you went through or you dealt with in any type of capacity, getting help, talking to
Talk
somebody,
about it. That's
yeah,
it. Talk about it.
yeah, because it's really about breaking the cycle, which hopefully that was the reason why they decided to make
Yeah.
the docuseries,
Yeah, for sure.
was to get awareness and at least break the cycle for people coming up.
Yep.
So I'm gonna piggyback off of Sarah real quick, and then Forte you up. But for me, just kind of, I think adding a little bit more to what Sierra's saying. Talk about it. If you're not being heard, make sure you talk about it even more. Like make sure you talk about it to the right people, because I know there's a lot of people out there who they're either silenced or they're not being listened to. They're trying to speak up and it's just not being heard. You know what I mean? So try to find that outlet. I know it might be hard, and I know there might be a lot going on, but there's somebody out there who's gonna listen to you. You just have to kind of work around it and find a way of getting it out.
I tell Savannah all the time, if it feels wrong, it is wrong. So never erase that. Like, don't ever try to push that aside.
Yeah.
Cause yeah,
And that's the thing, like with kids, like that's my main thing I get out of this is just you got to open the dialogue, because a lot of kids, like even myself, like when you're younger and something happens, you're like, oh, I don't want to tell nobody because I don't want to get in trouble.
Yeah.
You got to make
Yeah.
your kids got to know, like,
It's okay.
it's okay. You
Yeah.
can tell me anything.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Just got to make sure that communication's always open.
And it's funny. It's funny you say that, because one of my boys, his dad's old enough now to have a conversation, and that's the advice he gave me. Like, yeah, we all agree, like we should be quote unquote paranoid parents, but you also have to, like you said, open that dialogue so that they feel
Yeah.
like they can come to you about anything, and like,
Yeah.
listen,
Yeah, you could be upset,
you might
but
get
just
in
not in
trouble
front
or
of them,
whatever,
like, yeah.
but like.
You can still tell me.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you
and
gotta
he
be
was
able to
even
talk.
telling me a story of how his daughter didn't have YouTube, I believe it was. And she downloaded it on her own. and then he seen her kind of like, you know, in the corner trying to hide what she was doing. So like, what are you doing? And she tried to laugh it off, and then she started running around holding her thing. He's like, no, like, I'm being serious. What are you doing? So then he took it and he seen that she's on YouTube. And then after, he was upset that she downloaded it because even though she's of age, she should have said something, right? But he sat her down. He's like, listen, you need to know that, like, no matter what, you could always tell me something, but you need to come to us. And, like, it's not bad that you downloaded it, but just have that conversation first.
Yeah,
and blah,
for
blah,
sure.
blah. And he was saying, like, inside, he was pissed.
Of course, yeah.
But he knew that he had to, like, you know, control himself. And instead of just being
Reacting.
being the authority figure, he said,
all it takes is one time, man. If you
Yeah,
have a
and then-
wrong reaction one
yeah.
time, they're not coming back to you.
Nah,
Yeah.
man.
So you gotta.
So it's a thin line, but yeah. You know,
For sure, for
you gotta-
sure.
You gotta do all of that. Open the dialogue, be a little protective.
Be a lot of protective.
And I think Sierra touched on something, like, if it feels wrong, whether you're 7 years old, 27, 57, if it feels wrong, it's wrong. Like,
Yeah.
trust yourself, trust your gut. Like, you know what I mean?
So I mean, for everybody who listens to our show, if you have anything to say, anything to add that you feel like we missed, hit us up. The show's called Agree to Disagree. You don't have to agree with us. You don't have to disagree with us, but
you gotta
know?
pick one, man.
you can kind of jump in the middle if you want. But you know what? Either way, let us know how you feel. Yeah, and I mean, we talk about different topics, and this is a heavy one. So if there's anybody out there who has anything to say, add to it. Let us know. Make sure you guys hit up Sierra, our new member. You know?
And if there's topics that you guys want us to touch on,
Please.
let us know.
Yeah, hit us up. So we gonna be back at it. We ain't going nowhere. We back. We gonna get in the
We
groove of
back.
things. And we hope you guys stay tuned to Agree or Disagree. Don't go nowhere.
Peace.